On Sunday, August 18th, 2024, the rural town of Oxford, Connecticut experienced what is now widely reported as the greatest amount of rainfall in the history of the state, an amazing 16.31 inches. The prior state record, almost 69 years ago to the day, was the historic flood of 1955. The first place I went to fly and film was an area behind Stevenson Dam, an area called Lake Zoar, a place I eat at, boat on, and a place to watch eagles fly above. The floodwaters carried down docks, debris, and watercraft of all kind. I grew up a mile from here. I spent my summers on this lake, both above and below this dam. Never in my 52 years of living here has any storm compared since the stories my grandparents and parents shared with me about the flood of 1955. These are the docks and boats that tie up at Lake Zoar Family Marina every year. This shed is not part of that marina. It came from a mile upriver. Lake Zoar Family Marina and kayak rental has been on this lake as long as the drive-in has. Dozens of boat owners rent dock space here seasonally, season after season. Lots of pontoons and wakeboard boats on Lake Zoar tie up here. Since filming here, I became friends with the owners of both facilities. It's funny how disasters bring strangers together. These boats and docks, they broke free from Eichler's Cove Marina, located nearly a mile up the river. The debris being held back by the barriers contained a lot, but not everything. Reports of debris were found in Stratford. Jet skis, coolers, boats, remains of docks from upriver, children's inflatables, trees, bark, styrofoam, buoys, propane tanks. Pretty much anything that can still float was seen on the surface. 1 mile upriver. This is Jackson's Cove Road, which leads to the town park. The Cove, as it's known by locals, resides along the Housatonic River. This property is a real hidden gem in town. I've been visiting here since I was a toddler. I can be found here most sunny days in the summer, chasing boats up and down the river with my drone. August 18th, the road became impassable. A view from above reveals more of the destruction and washout from the deluge of water. Sections of the road were washed down the embankment. Half of the road has been washed away into the stream that has no name. This section of road took my breath away. The sheer devastation from water was something you need to see to believe. You can't tell from the video, but there's a 30-foot drop from the road to the stream. Any given weekend at Jackson's Cove, someone has rented the pavilion. On Sunday, August 18th, 61 people were celebrating a second birthday. When some tried to leave, they found out the road had washed away, and trees came down over other areas of the road, making it impassable on foot. People with medical needs, infants running out of formula, all bunkered down, knowing the only way out was the way they came in, and they were now stranded at the cove. It wasn't until the rain stopped that it allowed for emergency rescue from Oxford EMS and fire to arrive in boats. Carrying 4 or 5 individuals at a time, the rescue efforts brought those stranded to a temporary shelter downriver. All were safely removed a little after midnight that night after being trapped here for 10 plus hours. I started out filming Lake Sword Drive-In and ventured out over the water, but this is what it looked like to my left. This is Route 34 over Boys Halfway Brook. This is La Terraza Mexican Grill. They just had their grand opening 3 weeks prior to the flood. They are located on Route 67 across from Oxford Center School, where I went to school from 1st to 4th grade. The waterway running behind La Terraza is named Little River. Oxford House Tavern. This place has been a fixture in town since 1795. This is the resident state trooper's office. This is Oxford's police station. Located on the corner of Governor's Hill Road and Route 67, it hasn't changed its look in decades. Opposite side of the parking lot is the St. Peter's Episcopal Church. I relocated a mile south on Route 67 and flew over the Sunoco gas station. That is the same waterway we just flew over, Little River. Old Sawmill miniature golf course, what's left. On the left, concealed from the trees, is a restaurant named Marina. Looking in the opposite direction from Quarry Walk towards Route 67 and 42. This is the intersection of Route 67 and Great Hill Road. Fritz's, another landmark in town, and Duncan are located here on the right. Looking north, on the left, is Builder's First Source Lumber. I still call it Oxford Hardware. On the right is Nardelli's, surrounded by medical services. Flying north again, we see Little River where it meets Wyant Road and Route 67. That bridge and 100 yards of road south of it were deemed unsafe and slated for reconstruction. Debris field from the lumber yard is everywhere. Continuing north, we come to Bice Drive. On the left is Pure Platinum, a hair studio. I've been going here for over a decade. On the right is A1 Pools and Spas. For the past 7 years, I shopped here for my pool supplies. Across Park Road is New England Tire, another landmark and another business I patronized for decades. This is Park Road. That home was once a sawmill. This is the one-way bridge on Park Road going over Little River. The stone archway bridge survived, but the earth around it didn't. Returning south, I snapped a couple of photos of Pure Platinum so I can send them to Vicky, the owner, so she can see what had happened from above. The driveways look like the surface of Mars. The large shed in the parking lot was moved 20 feet, and on the right, the shed that was alongside the building is now turned and moved off its position. This is the Oxford Fence Company, unscathed, unlike all around. I'm following the path of water from Park Road toward the Seymour line. This is unedited, without interruption, in about a minute of flight time. Seymour, Connecticut, Route 67, looking over Hoadley Pond. This is where all the water bottlenecked. The debris you see is a mixture of styrofoam, lumber, and general junk swept down the river. This is the back of Claridus Village, a Seymour landmark. I've never needed to go behind the buildings. It's mostly loading docks for the stores. This is my first time seeing how it all channeled left here and how the volume of water was able to destroy every business in this village. Noontime, lifting off at Punk Up Road on Route 34. I grew up on this road. I would swim here when the water levels were normal. At times, I walked across this river to go to the other side and camp. I fished here as a kid. I rafted down this river in rapids just like now as a teen. I've seen this river rage more than this. I didn't expect what I was going to see next. That's the 8 Mile Brook, which parallels Loughlin Road and empties out into the Houstatonic River just below the Stevenson Dam. The bridge over the 8 Mile Brook didn't stand a chance due to the massive debris pile up behind it. Loughlin Road and the 8 Mile Brook. Yes, brook. Decimated. Half of Loughlin Road is washed away. This was a quickly moving brook, moss covered rocks everywhere, clear cold water flowing, same as the 5 Mile Brook, which runs parallel on Punk Up Road, where I lifted off from. You can see two cars at the bottom of the screen trying to figure out if they should attempt to drive on the washed out road ahead, a common sighting in my flights. This is Loughlin Road and Route 34 intersection from a different point of view. That's the 8 Mile Brook, and that's the washed out section of the road the drivers were judging whether or not to drive on. Where did the debris go? I don't know. Downriver, I would imagine, after they opened the gates to drop the water levels. The debris from upper parts of the Houstatonic is now floating downriver. In the distance on the left is the Waterview Catering Hall. You can see the bank is washed out. Further up from there is Eichler's Cove. This is my first time seeing Freeman Road. Earlier in the day and after this flight, I was still unable to safely get close enough to fly. I can see lots of washout, and the water is never this color. It's hard to tell the bridge has been washed away behind those trees. It's almost 2 p.m., and I'm doing my last flight of the day, back to La Terraza to look around. The water has receded and the truth comes out. La Terraza took a beating. This is the intersection of Governor's Hill Road and Route 67. This is the aftermath of the parking area at the Oxford House Tavern. Flying north towards La Terraza along Route 67 for one last look around for the day.